Okay, so obviously this is going to be a disturbing subject for most to listen to, and as such, I must insert a warning at the beginning saying these are going to be my opinions. I'm going to be speaking about a very sensitive subject, so if you're easily offended by stuff like that, just be wary of what you're about to get into. I do apologize if I do offend you, though, but I don't really mean anything by it. I'm merely just speaking my opinions, and like I said, I may offend you. But just know that I really mean no harm, and I hope that you'll give this video, the light of day and listen at least to the end. And if you really, really hate me after all of this, you can go ahead and, slaughter me in the comment section. I'm not going to mess with them. You can feel free to speak your mind in the comments if you want, but, I'm not going to do anything. But just a little bit of a warning. That's pretty much all I want to say. Here's the video. Hello there guys, Dan here, and welcome to another video. So as you can tell by the title, this is the big one. This is a big video that honestly I've wanted to make for the longest time. I've wanted to sit down and express my mind about this subject for the longest time. I wanted to make a long talk for literally years, and I really didn't know how to go about doing it. And I decided, you know what, since seemingly everything is going into turmoil right now, at least what I read on Facebook and stories everywhere popping up about abuse and all that, this is probably the best time as any to make this video about racism and speak out about it, and basically speak my mind. As I put in the warning, if you're easily offended, you may not want to watch, but like I said, I don't mean anything by it. I'm just going to speak my opinion on what I think, or just probably get down to basically why. As you can tell in the title, why be racist? I just want to know. Now, what I'm saying is, if you're racist, which if you're watching this video and you just happen to be racist against a specific group, doesn't have to be black people, if you're racist against anybody, that's your choice. I'm not going to sit here and judge you and say, oh, you can't do that, but no, because you can. I mean, that's your free will. But what my question is why? That's the main thing I'm curious about, is why. Now, for you, if you are racist out there, I want you to take this time and think about this question I'm about to ask. Why are you racist? I want you to come up with 3 reasons why you would have to be racist. And none of them can be because I can or because I hate insert group here. It can't be those 2 generic answers. I just want a true detailed explanation for why. And for the most part, most people, if they are racist against a certain group, will not be able to come up with 3 answers that aren't very generic, at least in my opinion. And here's why. Here's why I feel like that's why. Because usually the people who can't come up with valid reasons why they're racist were not racist to begin with. They were either A, taught to be racist, which is usually where racism starts from. Usually comes from the parents of the person who's racist, or from a friend or whatever. You learn to be racist from a certain source. That's, how someone becomes racist. Reason number 1. Reason number 2 is that they're triggered by a certain event that just so happened to happen either once or more than likely 2 or 3 other times by a certain group of people that made them start to dislike that group of people because it's kept happening to them. And I'll go into an example for just a minute. But let me start with example A there, clearly. If you were taught to be racist, because that's a big one. Not everyone, no one starts out racist, The only people that were racist at first were clearly the people who lived pre-1965, pre-civil rights movement, when, separationism or whatever it's called, was a thing back in the day, back in the early days. That's the only people that should have been racist, was people who lived back then and didn't like the diversity, I guess is a way to say it. Now, obviously, those thoughts are going to spread from those people who lived back then to the next generation, and so on and so on and so on. Which is why, if you're watching this and you just so happen to maybe be racist, you maybe picked up, the thoughts of certain groups from your parents or from your grandparents or wherever. And like I said, that's not my choice, or that's not my business to judge you on base what you've been taught, okay? But my question is, why would you? Why would you listen? If you truly feel that way, I understand, but why? Again, it comes down to trying to find, I just want to know the specifics, That's all I've really been curious about, is how someone can be racist against someone. And let me stop speaking about that for a little bit. You're saying that you hate someone based on something they're born with. Something that someone has absolutely zero control over. You're hating them based on that. This is almost the equivalent of hating someone because they were born with a mental disability. Basically. You're hating on someone because they were born with like literally a birth disorder or something. It's almost equivalent to that. I'm not saying it is equivalent, but it's almost equivalent. None of us, and I mean none of us, had a choice in life when we came out of the womb or anywhere in development where we just, pulled up a character selection screen and said, oh, I'd like to be this race right here. Click, bam. No, none of us had that. There was no choice. You didn't choose to be whatever race you are. I didn't choose to be black. Nobody chose to be white. Nobody chose to be anything. It was honestly just random chance. We all just got our soul injected into this body and here we are. But yet you're saying it's okay to hate someone because they were born with the skin color they got. That doesn't make any sense to me. You're basically saying that someone you're judging, let's say you hate, insert race here of this person, you're going to blame a newborn baby. You're going to hate this newborn baby that just got born into the race that you hate. You're saying you hate this newborn baby too that hasn't done anything to you. And this kind of ties back to what I was talking about, being triggered by something. Example B of why someone could potentially be racist. Let's put it this way. Say person A, well, I'll put something on the screen so we can keep track of this. Person A is, living their life, and then they just so happen to get, say, in an accident or something. Something happens with person B, influencing person A's life in a negative way. And this happened the first time, so person A just thinks nothing of it. But let's say this happens again with person C and person D, all being of the same race. B, C, and D are all the same race. All are influenced person A's life in a bad way. Whether it be, getting robbed or fucking up their family or something, something bad happened. And, person A didn't like this. And because he noticed, these three people are all the same race, I really don't like that race, because of this event. Now, I'm not saying that's how it happened. I'm just saying that this is a potential way someone could be triggered to the point that where they would hate a certain group because of this specific event that happened right here with B, C, and D. I can see that, It's kind of like, say, you got robbed by the same skin tone of people 3 times. You're going to be like, well, most of them must be robbers then, or most of them must be this. It's kind of tying in the stereotypes, But I'll get on that in a little bit too. Where you're judging the whole group based on what these 3 in this example did. Now, that's a really flawed way of thinking, Just because these 3 people, just so happen to screw your life up or, do something to make you feel angry or something, doesn't mean that every person of these 3 people's race will do that. And that's why I don't understand how people can be racist or how people can not like someone based on their skin tone if they're basically just judging everybody before they even meet them. Let's take some stereotypes, for example. Let's start with the black stereotype because, I am black, so let me just start here and then we'll go outward, okay? The stereotype for black people is that they act thuggy, they listen to rap, they have no respect for other people, they care about, drugs, money, and sex and all that. You know the deal. You know the black stereotype. However, even though that applies to the majority or a minority, I don't fucking know the numbers, I don't know the exact numbers, but even if that stereotype applies to the majority/minority of the whole race, does not mean that we're all like that. And I hate to say we, because I'm part of the race, so I can't really exclude myself out of it, but does not mean that we're all like that. There are black people out there who don't like that behavior, who don't act like that. Like I said, they may be in the minority. You might not see them. And if you do, it's very rare, but they're out there. But you're basically saying that you're going to judge us anyway, even if you know we don't act like that, Again, but we were forced into this because we were born this way, That's why I'm saying you can't judge someone based on people's actions or based on someone's skin color and actions, and then blame everybody for these three people's actions when everyone is different. Everyone is completely different. And it works the other way too. You can be racist no matter what race you are, as far as I'm concerned. There have been videos out there saying, oh, you can't be racist unless you're white. No, you can be racist at any race. There are feelings that black people hate white people, that Mexicans hate black people, that there's all sorts of, different people who hate certain groups of people. And that's pure racism no matter what color you are. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter what color you are. If you dislike a group of people for whatever reason you have, because of their skin color, because of something else, that's still hate. Whatever, no matter which way you color it. You may not hate them because of their color, but you may hate them for something else. As far as I'm concerned, that's still hate, in my opinion. It may not be racism at that point, but that's still hate. And that still can apply no matter what race you are. But you can be racist as any race. Don't ever get that out of proportion. But let's flip it around. Let's take the white stereotype. And let's go with where I live personally in Kentucky, because I'm not going to judge the white stereotype everywhere because it's different depending on where you live. For the most part, I think. I'm not really sure. But let's take the white stereotype of here in Kentucky, that most white people here in Kentucky are rednecks that listen to country music, drive trucks, and shoot guns all day. Again, all of that is not true, for one. And two, again, that may not apply to the majority/minority, whichever one is obviously more prevalent. Some of them, sure. I hear a lot of country music. So what? What's wrong with country music? But I'm getting sidetracked here. Just because a minority or the majority is applied to the white stereotype does not mean that they all fit in the white stereotype. It's just, that's what I don't understand. How can you hate someone based on their skin color? You just can't. They were born that way. There's something they can't control. No one had control. Why be racist over it? Why hate someone for that? That's why I just constantly come back to the concept of, can you come up with 3 reasons why you're racist? If you're racist. Can you? It's really hard to do. And if you can, then I guess you truly are a bona fide, racist person. And that's your choice. I'm not going to sit here and say that's wrong of you. I may not agree with your thoughts, but I'm not going to say it's wrong. That's just the way you feel. But it's honestly just scary. It's a scary thought with everything going on nowadays. I just wish everyone could see this message and everything would be fine. But unfortunately, everything's not going to be fine like that. Not everything's going to be fixed overnight. And no matter what I say, it's not going to be important to anyone else at all. And I'm pretty sure I had a lot more I wanted to say as well, but it's kind of all lost me right now. So I won't really elaborate much more. But I do want to say, everyone's willing to, reach out, socialize and stuff. No matter what race you are. You just give people a chance, you know? Even if like 95% of a group of people acts the way that you don't like, you can't judge the whole rest of the 5%, you know? It's kind of like the analogy I like to use sometimes. If you find a carton of eggs and 10 out of the 12 dozen are broken, you wouldn't throw away the whole carton. You would still use those 2 last eggs, right? You're not going to throw it away like that. It's just like you can't blame the whole majority or the whole thing because of what a majority did. Even if it's like a 51% majority, like you're not going to blame the other 49%. I can keep repeating myself, but it makes sense either way. We're not all the same. You have to take it on a person-to-person basis, not a group basis, you know? And like I said, feel free not to agree with me. That's, you know, it's your decision. I know that, you know, coming from me, someone who's not educated as well as most people, there are probably other videos on the internet all over with better ways to explain all this, but at the end of the day, it's your choice whether you decide to listen or not. It's your choice whether you decide to go to the comments and post all kinds of slander and whatnot. It's your decision to live your life the way you want to live it. And if you want to live it, you know, being racist by your choice, then that's your choice. I just was curious about why. Why is someone racist? That's all I really wanted to know. So I guess that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I wanted to say today. So thank you for your time if you lended me it today. And thank you for your time. I said it twice. I said it 3 times. Thank you again once for your time. And I'll see you guys next time for some more videos. See you then.